Joining us now on the line to talk about this is zookeeper Lee Durrell. Lee is live from the Durrell Wildlife Park in Jersey. And for Lee, this is an incredibly reminiscent story of actually an incident which took place at the park 30 years ago. Good morning, Lee. Good to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, good morning. Nice to see you.
I see you're there at your gorilla enclosure, Lee. 30 years ago, something very similar happened at your park, didn't it? What do you remember about that day?
Well, I wasn't actually here, but I heard all about it, of course, and saw the footage and talked to the keepers. It was really pretty extraordinary. A man put his child on the edge of our gorilla compound and went round to get his other children, I think, and then the child wiggled and fell about 12 feet onto the concrete apron, knocked himself out. And our gorilla family was in the enclosure, and the big silverback came over. He was followed by his females, and he sat by the child. He sort of looked up at all the people screaming, but sat by the child and really seemed to put himself between the child and the other gorillas. Then he sort of bent down and sniffed the child and then lifted his T-shirt. It was really quite extraordinary. And, you know, in one fell swoop, it kind of overturned the image of gorillas as these fierce King Kong type creatures.
Well, the keepers managed to lure him away. That's Jambo there with some food, and the boy, Lee Van, was rescued there by a keeper who jumped into the enclosure, as we're seeing here, Lee. Lee, when you've watched the footage of what's happened in Cincinnati, and obviously we now know Harambe was shot dead, what do you make of that situation?
What I've seen is that it looks like very early footage. I think the child was in with the gorilla for 10 minutes. And I've only seen the beginning stuff, but you know, truthfully, it looked to me like he was kind of going into gorilla protective mode, or at least gorilla very puzzled mode. What's happening to me, rather as our Yambo did. And the business of dragging him by the leg, well, you know, that's how gorillas sort of behave with each other. They drag each other around. So it's really, really hard to say, but it looked to me like it was protection, really.
Well, and obviously, you know, from a zoological point of view and with your huge expertise, Lee, that's the way it looks to you. To me, as a parent, it looks much rougher than that. And I have to admit, if I was there, I would have wanted someone to take the shot, because I think it would be much more awful if we were here talking today about the death of that young child. Were there other options open to the people in Cincinnati other than a fatal bullet?
I think there probably were. I mean, if it'd been, it's really, you know, it's hindsight's a fine thing, but if it'd been our situation, what I think we would have done is, say, had a marksman standing right by, and then tried to use a tranquilizer dart. They, you know, the animals hardly feel them. They can act fairly quickly, and have the marksman standing there in case the situation turned nasty. But I do know this is all hindsight, and Cincinnati, you know, did what they felt they had to do.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
It came about because we sort of saw the sort of costume on the internet, on eBay, and purchased that one. And from there, it sort of became like a sort of an alternative ego, sort of a chance to dress up and role play. You do it as a child, and why can't we do it as adults, really?